Hey guys, Chad Tracy back here with another video. I was a correctional officer for 18 and a half years. I was terminated by two individuals that lied on me. They said that I called them a pussy and a faggot, and I threatened to beat them up approximately 45 days apart. And this is where we're at today. Approximately 6 years, 7 years later, fighting for my job and going through each and every avenue to either get it back or get my pensionable, get my pension. So I just want to reiterate on my last video. I didn't really get into what was said during myself and IVP when we had the confrontation. What was said was it was at the CC2X gate, and I had two individuals, one being terminated. One that's I'm not going to mention because he's going to be my witness because I'm afraid of repercussions for him, and then a third one that was a civilian. What was said at the CC2X gate was, as we passed by, I said, what are you doing, snitching? Like, you know, because obviously we had that, we played around like that. He said, no, I'm not snitching. What'd you do? You just threatened me? I said, nobody just threatened you. Ain't nobody gonna have your back in here. And he walked away, and that's exactly what was said at the CC2X gate. Supposedly there was a witness. That witness was Lieutenant Kissass. Remember, guys, that was the one that I had issues with at F1 control booth. Then he was a lieutenant in operations. Then I didn't get my bid. They changed my start time and numerous other things. I had issues with this individual. That was what was said during that confrontation. So he wrote it up, said that I threatened him and called him a pussy and a faggot then. So moving forward, approximately 45 days later, I had the next individual, which is Mr. Victim. Mr. Victim said that I said the same exact thing to him. I threatened him. He said that I said that I was going to knock his teeth down his throat, which is a big fat lie. Listen, guys, if I just got charged or paperwork pressed on me 45 days or a couple days prior to this incident, do you think I would, if I did it the first time, do you think I would make the second mistake or make a mistake the same exact thing on the second time? Come on, guys, like, let's be honest, it doesn't even make sense. Not to mention that that individual, Turtle Nuts, was the IVP for the second individual. So when he got interviewed by SID and also EED in the department, his union rep was Turtle Nuts. I thought that was a conflict of interest, and I would love for somebody to look into this even further. Department of Justice, the Attorney General's office, whomever. I'm doing this not to get clout, not to get payment, not to do anything, but I'm here to tell my story. Unfortunately, or fortunately, my story is getting told exactly how it happened. And it's exactly how I've always said it's happened. Unfortunately, words got twisted, depending on who you talk to, and so on and so forth. So when I had the confrontation with the second individuals up on Delta 2, I said that I turned my back on the one individual. I didn't make a name for him. It's really not important. And at that time, we were just joking. Then it got serious when Mr. Victim said, yeah, fuck you, Tracy, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to fuck you up. How about I tell your wife? And she works at what hospital? And she gave the full name of the hospital and her first name, my wife's first name, and said what kind of car she drove, the whole 9 yards. He also stated that, good luck with your son's YouTube channel and you guys watching some kind of police videos or what have you. Like, I don't even know what the hell he was talking about. But anyways, yeah, he said all that. He brought up, and yeah, to try to, kind of piss me off and this, that, and the third, which he didn't really piss me off. I just got under his skin more because I said, listen, you're just mad because my wife and my side piece is better looking than your wife. And I had no idea what his wife looked like. I really didn't care what his wife looked like. It didn't even matter. But he was so in tune with my son's YouTube channel and what we did at our house. And, the cars that we drove and the cars that he drove. And, just complete jealousy, because I guess he didn't have what I had. But, hey, listen, we all worked in the same place, right? And, it is what it is. So people can, know how to take care of their money and know how to buy things and so on and so forth. Other people don't, and that's the gist of it. For him to say I threatened him when what I did say was, I see why you talk a lot of shit. That's probably why you got your teeth knocked out, and that's exactly what I said. I didn't say I was going to knock his teeth out. And I was trying to get off the tier. He wouldn't allow me off the tier. So I sat on the desk. He was trying to provoke me, point his finger, stand up, you pussy, I'll fuck you up. Pointing it, at my back. And I just started laughing, like, you're not going to do nothing. Like, you're not even built like that. You're going to be all tough because, your boys are around and so on and so forth. You're not built like that or whatever. And so there's another individual that was up there, and he was bringing inmates back and forth. And he also lied. That was one of his boys from down the shore. Straight lied. He's now a supervisor along with the other guy, another supervisor. And I definitely would love for DOC or the Attorney General's office or somebody else to investigate and pull all their phone records and all their social media platforms at that time and see exactly what was being said back and forth. Because I had some information going back and forth. And stuff that was said to me on those social media platforms also. It's just crazy how DOC had a target on my back and they followed through with it. And that's pretty much it, guys. They knew they couldn't get me with doing anything wrong with inside the jail or doing anything, against the policies, procedures, what have you, because I always follow the rules and regs. So they thought they got me this way. So it kind of is what it is. And I've been out of work for this amount of time. And like I said, I'm doing this. I'm not trying to hurt no feelings. I'm trying to get the truth out. And whatever it takes, to get the truth out, I'm willing to do. If we have to if we even got offered a lie detector test, I'm willing to take. I have nothing to hide. I said that since day one. Now, if you go to all the, and I'm sorry, guys, I always say, that's just, it is what it is. I'm still new with this. I would just love for somebody to go back to all the oral interviews that we had with SID and actually who was asking questions at that time. And it's going to tell you exactly who and who was in charge of the investigation, who did the investigation, and yeah. So one day, and if not, hey, it is what it is. I already forgiven these guys. There's no hard feelings. You have to move on in life. And after these last couple videos, wherever the chips may lie, that's where it's going to go. And it's going to be time for me to move on from this. I'm not going to carry, this for the rest of my life. I just had to get my story out. And whoever wants to listen, if it helps somebody else, it's going to help somebody else. If people want to reach out during investigations for me to help them or to guide them along, most definitely I've experienced it. I know I'm always willing to help out a brother in blue, as long as you're doing right, obviously. If you're bringing cell phones or drugs in the institution, you you get what you get. You're like, come on, guys, nobody wants that. Nobody wants any unsafe things for any officers inside there. But yeah, like I said, if anybody had anything to do with my firing, that's why I put them on blast. There's plenty of other people that I've never even put on blast that I could have. It's not what it's all about. It's all about the people that did have something with my firing, and that's why they were involved. Some people are just collateral damage, unfortunately, and it's who they were married to or who they were associated with, right, guys? We all knew who I was associated with in there, and we all know what people had to do trying to get at me to get to her. Like, come on, like, really, like, that's some coward shit, like I said before. But listen, everybody got theirs that they were supposed to get, and it is what it is at this point. So yeah, during the second episode with Mr. Victim, I did have a heart attack. I was having shortness of breath. They would not allow me to leave the tier. Mr. Victim did have the keys on him. During the trial of OAL, he said, and the other person said that they didn't know who had the keys. Like, come on, really? If I had the keys, don't you think I would have left the tier? I couldn't leave the tier. They wouldn't allow me to leave the tier. Like I said, I was shortness of breath, sitting down, and I did go down, and the cameras would show this, but unfortunately, DOC only has cameras for what they want them to have them for, and if it's for an officer to go against the DOC, they wouldn't have them, of course, because we did request them. Unfortunately, they didn't provide them. It would show that I went down to B Shop, time-stamped a couple specials, and went right directly to the back of center, not knowing that that's where those two individuals had went after they opened up the door for Baker 1, the gate, and threw the keys, almost hitting me and having them land on the desk. They went to the back of center. There was no phone call. There was nothing done over the radio at all. That's a bullshit lie. There was no something over the radio to a certain sergeant. That's all bullshit. That's all a lie. He wasn't properly relieved. They both left, as well as I did, because I had shortness of breath. He said I was going to go write it up. Met in the back of center. I did ask him, and I wasn't pleading, please don't do this, don't please that. Like, he wants to seem like he's macho man, which, whatever. It is what it is. He wants to feel like he's top shit and he's a tough guy. Everybody in there knows about this guy. Everybody knows that, what he's about and what he's always done his whole career. He's always tried to lie, connive, just to get by. He lied saying that he was taking days off because he was stressed out because of my situation or our situation, that people were riding him because he snitched. Like, that's all bullshit. Nobody in there rode him. If people in there were riding him, he would have rode it up to protect himself. He never did. It's all lies. It's all bullshit. Also, he also went down to down to operations, to a ITI or ops representative. That they were ops people, were civilians that did the schedules for us and took vacation days, AL days, that kind of stuff, and said, "Oh, it's going to get real quiet down around here." And the ops person was like, "Why? What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, I took Tracy out today or yesterday. Tracy knew I'm going to get him fired. He's going to get terminated." And not knowing that there was another ops person in there and overheard everything. So she documented everything, and I have everything. So, he was going around like being happy about it. And then later on that night, after I went to the, I was brought out in the paramedics because I went up to G1. Actually, I was told to, after I asked him if he was going to write up. He said, yeah, at the back of center. And I did say, oh, come on, don't. Yeah, I did say, hey, don't do that. Like, I have enough stuff going on. And he's, now, you said what you said, and it is what it is. I said, look at all the stuff you said about my wife. Like, really? That's what you're going to do? Like, you're going to try to take somebody out? And it was all a big plan, guys. It was a plot. There's somebody that's willing to come forth to admit that there was a big plot against me. And I guess there's new findings in the case, as you can say. And we're going to go from there. So with that being said, I went to the ODR, and the ODR is where the officers ate, where inmates cooked up food for the officers and made it, and so on and so forth. So I was told to go in there, which there was an administrator in there. I forget his name right now. He's a African-American male. He told me to take a deep breath, relax. He could tell I was under duress and I was stressed out. I was having problems breathing when there was a lieutenant in there ordered me like 2 or 3 times to write a special, and I couldn't even write a special. I was so out of breath. Like, that's how stupid some of these fucking supervisors are. Ordering somebody to do a special note, and I told her I was having shortness of breath and everything else, trying to order me, and she even put it in her special. I ordered him 2 or 3 times to do a special, and he never did it. Like, you look like a fucking fool. So she knows who she is. And the person that was in center that day was directly connected to Snake in the Grass, the administrator. She was married to the individual that never got charged with the 6 individuals in that seg. So she was really, really tight with the administrator, Snake in the Grass. So with that being said, I was escorted by the administrator, or assistant or associate administrator. I forget his name right now. Excellent guy. Just shot everything from the hip. Excellent guy. Took me up to G1. I didn't want to tell you, like, it was like, blood pressure was like 200 over, I don't even know, like, it was like I don't even know, it was crazy high numbers. Anyways, they called a ambulance. I was taken out on a stretcher, rushed to Hamilton Hospital. I had a heart attack on the job during the incident. That day, or that night, they rushed me over to Cooper Hospital where I had surgery. And from my understanding, there was a, I keep saying, please excuse me, guys. And there was a administrator that ordered Lieutenant Humpty Dumpty to see how I was. So Lieutenant Humpty Dumpty had called, and my wife had picked up the phone. And I was right there. I listened to everything. And he said, yeah, I'm calling to, see how Officer Tracy's doing, blah, 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 blah. And, my wife at the time, God bless her, said, oh, he's fine. Or he's in surgery. She was very, upset about the whole situation. Because remember, guys, like, every night I would come home crying, sitting at the our little island in our kitchen. And some of you know, because from the videos, and some of you guys were close enough, friends of mine, to see the inside of my house or what have you. But it was all over my son's YouTube channel. Sitting there every single night, knowing that, that this stuff was going to happen. So with that being said, he's, he was just calling to see how I was doing, blah, blah. She just kind of gave him the rundown, whatever. And then 2 or 3 minutes later, another person calls. And they acted like the person, acted like a girl, and saying her name, and say, oh, this is also so-and-so. I'm just calling to see how Chad's doing. And he's in surgery, blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, I'm right there, and she had me on speakerphone, so I know exactly who it is, who called. And just can you just let them know that Officer so-and-so had called? And she was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Do you have a phone number that I can reach? Oh, just have them call back to jail. So there was 3 females in there that day. And one was Man Hands, one was Barbie Doll, and the other one was, it doesn't even matter what her name is. But she was a rookie. And there was 3 individuals. And I know who it is. So I got you next video. We're going to go in on you next, since you had something to do with me, everything that happened to me, which you had no business telling anything, because I never got involved in your personal relationships or anything you've done or what you cheated on and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what we're going to get into next. So since you want to try to put my business out there, or what have you, it's all out there. I got no skeletons, but I know you do, sweetheart or sweethearts. Let's get out all your skeleton next video. All right, guys, that's it. That's it for tonight. And listen, no ill will to those individuals. Listen, they had to do what they had to do. They're forgiven. No hard feelings. If I see them, hey guys, what are you doing? How you doing? Shake their hands and move on. You know why? Because, God only knows if I would still be living, if I was still in there or not, right? I probably would have died inside of there because of the stress and everything else that they put me through. Not just them, but the administrators and also the one particular majors and some of the supervisors in there. But listen, everything happens for a reason, guys. And, I'm blessed. I'm out of there. I'm a much better person. Lots changed. Unfortunately, I don't have the love of my life anymore. I don't see I try to talk to my kids every day. I try to see my kids as much as possible. But listen, guys, those guys that took that away from me, or I should say I took it away from myself because I gave you the fuel to do it. One day it may happen to you guys. And I know it's already happened to the one individual. He's always getting arguments with the schools and everything else and teachers up there, what have you. The other individual, I know he's still married with his kids. But, one thing that you did that you helped take away from me that I gave you the ammunition for is I gave my kids a kiss every night before they went to sleep. So with that being said, that's the one thing that you did take away from me. And the opportunity to love my wife for the rest of my life, you took that away from me, that I took away from myself, that you helped. Unfortunately, things happen. Everything happens for a reason. But I have forgiven you already. So listen, if you got a glass house, you shouldn't throw rocks. And that's it. And we're going to get into more of Mr. Victim next. And, that night. So, yeah, we'll get into that after. So I had, all that happen. And we're going to leave off with those individuals making that phone call to my wife and acting like somebody that they weren't. And we're going to get into theirs. And we're going to get into this guy's everything he said and everything that, charges I had to press on him and all that good stuff. And that's it, guys. I wish you all the best. Be safe in there, guys. Always, 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 watch your back. Unfortunately, you have to watch, sometimes the inmates have your back more than other officers. But you know what you got to do. Stay safe in there, guys, first and foremost. And I wish you all the best. And listen, everything happens for a reason, right? Chad Tracy, 18 and a half years in before I was terminated by two officers that lied on me and said I called them a pussy and a faggot, and I threatened them. And that's it, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a good night.